Well, good morning and welcome back to CityLine. It's great to be in your home. We are live every Thursday morning, and this morning is March 22nd. It's pretty blustery out there. We have a great hour ahead of us. Later on in the hour, we'll be talking with Gary Grape. He's here to talk about the Gray Skies Blues Music Festival, and we have a special guest, Miranda, who will be playing us out on her fabulous guitar. You don't want to miss that. And then Crystal and Monica are here to talk about budget billing in terms of your utilities. And if you don't know about budget billing, you should. It is a wonderful way during those very cold months when sometimes we cringe about the amount of heat we're using to budget out the expenses so we have a little more room to breathe during those very chilly months. Randy Lewis will be here. Usually he is in this studio with Business Matters, but right now he's here to talk about a legislative update. And then with me right now, I have a phenomenal individual, and she is here to talk about the Drop-In Center for Youth. So please join me in welcoming Pam Duncan. Hello, Miss Pam Duncan.
Good morning.
Good morning. You are the Neighborhood and Community Services Division Manager. Welcome back, my dear.
Thank you.
This topic is so timely right now. We see it practically in every form of media, whether it is Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's a good old-fashioned newspaper. We're talking about it. So let's dive in. First off, can you tell us at a high level about the city's efforts to respond to the complex issue of homelessness here in Tacoma?
Yes, homelessness is definitely one of the top priorities for the city of Tacoma to address. Many folks are aware of the emergency declaration last year that focused on the health and safety issues of folks who are occupying encampments. That really began to raise the issue to a much higher level because we began to really fully understand what people are experiencing, the squalor that folks were living in encampments, and that's just not acceptable in our community. And so as a result of that, we created the Stability Site, which is located at Puyallup and Portland Avenues. That's operated by Catholic Community Services, and it allows for those folks who were in the most densely populated encampment to have a place where they are stable, where they can shower, where they can do their laundry, where they can receive access to the multitude of services for folks who are experiencing homelessness in our community. So that's the most high-profile activity that we have underway. But we had already been addressing homelessness. We pour millions of dollars into the services of our partner providers to address homelessness in its various stages. And we've been doing so much work with cleaning up encampments and, again, connecting people with those services that they need.
Yeah, one of the things that I read about quite often are the wraparound services that the city of Tacoma provides. And one of the things I appreciate so much is that there is a constant repetition of resource information out there. And it's put out in many, many ways. So the people who need it the most can get it. It's not just we made one announcement. You guys are continually spreading the news about what you're doing, and also how we as citizens, when we encounter somebody who needs one of those services, can say, hey, what do you need? Have you called this number, or can I call this number for you? So let's talk about the Drop-In Center, Pam, for services and youth adults. When did the Drop-In Center for services for youth and adults experiencing homelessness transition to the Beacon Hill Senior Center? And then what other programs are offered there?
Sure. So the Beacon Senior Center is located at 13th and Fawcett. And from 5 till 9, the Drop-In Center services operate. And then at 9 o'clock, it transitions into being used as the overnight shelter for 18 to 24-year-olds who are experiencing homelessness.
Wow, what a phenomenal use of a resource. I am so impressed. I mean, it takes a lot of work to look at a building and to figure out how to serve all of the needs of the people, given their different demographics. And then also the needs of the building. I mean, we saw in the video setting up all of the places for people to spend the night. I mean, that's a lot of people power to get in there and close it for 2 hours, and then poof, suddenly you have a place to lay your head. That's pretty impressive. When we say drop-in services, first off, tell us, what do we mean? Define that for me.
So the drop-in center is operating for unaccompanied minors who are experiencing homelessness, as well as 18 to 24-year-olds. So during that period of time, it's open for a larger demographic of young folks who are experiencing homelessness, although generally the youngest that we may see come in is around 14, maybe 15 years old.
Okay.
And the services that are offered are all services to help them get reconnected. So it can be therapeutic counseling services, it can be helping them to continue their education or acquire their GED, or get personal hygiene items that they may need. So whatever those issues are that they are experiencing, they can either receive those services there, or they can get connected to a provider for those services.
Wow, that's impressive. And when the drop-in services, are they available each week, and who manages those services?
The drop-in center is open Monday through Friday from 5 o'clock till 9 p.m. And then on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
It's closed on Sunday. However, every night beginning at 9 p.m., the building operates as the emergency overnight shelter for the 18 to 24-year-olds.
All right.
And this is a temporary location. The city is still looking for the permanent location. The city, and Pierce County, we're working together to identify that permanent location.
What a beautiful collaboration. I love that, because it affects all of Pierce County, not just the city of Tacoma. So Pam, when you talk about overnight shelter services available, who's managing those services?
Sure. Those services are being provided by Community Youth Services. You will frequently hear them referenced as CYS, but it stands for Community Youth Services. And so they are providing the services for the overnight shelter, for the drop-in center, and then they also provide services in the form of street outreach services to find those young folks who are out there in the streets and get them connected to services as well.
Oh, that's seamless. That's beautiful, because I could see potentially, but you've already thought about this, a gap between the drop-in services if it was a different set of a different team for the overnight services, just there being a sense of, do you know this person? Do you know what we're doing with them? And do you really see the full picture of how often they're here? And are those wraparound services working? So we're not seeing this person here so much. Are we getting them reconnected? So when we talk about services for seniors available at the Beacon Service Center, who manages those?
So that's Korean Women's Association, or KWA.
Yes.
And the city had been in the business of operating the senior centers since 1971, and as we are moving away from providing the direct services and instead allowing those who do those services to instead provide them, we entered into a partnership again with KWA and Greater Destiny Church. So they are co-operating and co-managing the Beacon Senior Center as well as the Lighthouse Senior Center on 50th and A.
My goodness, you and your team are busy.
Busy. Because
those partnerships, you say them so easily, they just slip right off your tongue, but those partnerships take a long time to figure out on paper. Well done.
We have great providers in our community who are providing very compassionate and trauma-informed services. So they also deserve kudos.
They do, they absolutely do. So you mentioned the city is looking to identify a permanent location for a drop-in center and the overnight shelter services in 2018. Give us a little update. How's that going?
We are still identifying those locations, and one of the things that's very important for us is to ensure that the community is on board, that the community has had that opportunity to express this is what is important to us and what we feel that the young folks need. And speaking of the community, we especially want to ensure that those young folks who have that lived experience of homelessness or are currently experiencing it, have that opportunity as well to weigh in and say, this is what we need. We want to ensure that that voice is heard.
Yes, oh my goodness. This program just, it melts my heart, and I think it touches a lot of people because it's so hard still to think that there is that kind of need in our city, but it's also so affirming to hear what has happened and then the sights on the big, big picture. So I want to just throw a question out here for you, and as we talk about this situation, what do you need from the public?
We need support. We need support.
Yes. Verbal support, physical support.
Yes, it's the verbal support. And there are many different ways that people can become involved and learn more about the issue of homelessness. And I think that's the most important thing for the community, is to understand and not be quick to judge.
Yes. Get yourself educated.
Yes.
Yes. And we've been showing a website below your beautiful face this whole time where people can get information about our programs here in the city and also get involved. I want to say thank you so much for being here. This is not a clock in, clock out job you have. This is a ministry that's written across your heart. You don't walk through the streets here in Tacoma and just go, oh, I'm off the clock. It doesn't matter to me anymore. You live this. So I thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here and for
I
your
appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. And I want you back on the comfy couch soon, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. When we come back after just a little bit of musical chairs, we'll have Randall Lewis here to give us a legislative update. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.